Yes, thank you for joining in for more transmissions from who we are of the angelic realms, of the Galactic Council, of the Galactic Federation of Light. I'm here to talk about how you're not able to ascend only through mental projections, in which this reality comes in seeing that oftentimes there are those of you that feel that you're able to repeat information by our galactic crew and rise your vibrations that way. And that is often a habit that's developed from grade school up into college. For those of you that have had these experiences, in which you are taught to repeat information, and you're taught to replicate what has already been done instead of creating for yourself. Now, there's a higher level of awakening that goes on to ascension, in which is not purely about talking about love, but actually embodying being loving, which allows each of you to see that anyone is able to talk about love, while the reality of sharing that essence is where you're able to ascend more. And that's all through your own practice of this. It's not easy at first when you feel as if you're going to just jump in the ascension ladder all of a sudden in 1 or 2 days or a week or a month or even a year. It takes a lot of time to actually exist in more of this space, because most of your life you're unawakened, meaning you're unaware of ascension, and then awakening into a state of peacefulness as you've gone through this stage of developing this huge mental projection of how life works, which is the conditioning of the lower ego self in the mind cabal, meaning nonstop judgments going on in here, nonstop um, chaotic thoughts, nonstop judgmental realities, meaning what he or she is doing, or what they are doing, or how you feel you should live, or how you feel another should live. That's all mental. That's all the conditioning of the lower ego self. And you notice when you go to school and even after school, you're not taught to get out of that conditioning. A lot of careers even teach you to stay in that conditioning of punishment, of judgment, of separation, of this individual being better or worse than this individual, or this being the favorite of a work environment, or how they have bosses nowadays that talk about this worker being a better worker than this worker, and there's this whole reality of divisions, not unity, not harmony, not acceptance of all, but this whole reality of nonstop competition. Now, that is based off a lot of mental projections that are all mainly centered in greed. So you have even those of you that have gone on to be lawyers, to be doctors, and you see this reality of feeling the need to gain more information, nonstop information, to fill your heads with nonstop information. So when you're walking around, it's always something going on in the mind, thinking mind, in which is very little time to actually be present in this moment. Now, oftentimes that is a distraction and a distortion of your reality, meaning you're able to still be present in this reality while not focusing solely on what's going on in your head all the time. Now, this allows you to then ascend beyond the mental projections of how you've been viewing reality. Whether you have a position that you're in sales and you've been taught that, oh, you get this quota for your day, or else you're gonna get fired, or else you all this fear, and you have a boss that is trying to get you to make those sales. Now, that's all still fear, mental projections of how you exist, meaning your internal self is where you vibrate more of an awareness, an awakened presence inside of you, whereas the mental projection is only able to see limitations based on cabal conditioning, which is to conquer and divide. So when talking about needing to conquer love, or the saying love conquers all, is false, not true, meaning That is not how love works. Love is not here to conquer. Those that have conditioned a lot of humans to feel that love is a conquering presence have conditioned humans to exist in deeper states of fear, where you notice conquering comes with fear. Those that have conquered over countries have done it with physical violence. It's not a gentle reality to conquer anything. It's not about conquering challenges, even, because that's how the military looks at the reality of life. To try to conquer another country, to try to conquer another system, to try to conquer another army physically, to try to outsmart them mentally. And that's all based in fear. Fear of losing something, fear of losing power, fear of losing position. This even goes for those of you that have gone on to the chess, the game that's taught among a lot of humans. Where you have chess, you have one individual against another individual. And one individual is trying to checkmate the other individual by any means necessary. So they're being ruthless in their actions. They're not being kind, they're not being generous. They're willing to kill off the side of the opposing side. And that's all based in not seeing in unity, but seeing here, seeing in the mental projection of this individual is not me. So, being that I am, the lower ego self says, I am willing to kill this individual off, or I am willing to protect myself from this individual, which is still all fear. The protection remains inside. Our galactic fleet are here to continue to protect all of you that are as the 144,000. This protection is needed. To making no errors in consciousness, duality is the hell realm. In the hell realm, you have lower dimensions, you have leaders that have been carrying on wars instead of helping and making sure all of humans have their shelter and their food that they need. Not focusing billions of dollars and euro a month on making more weapons and making more bombs that we hear in our starships connecting through this form. Now, this is part of being multidimensional. For those of you that feel that this is all there is to our galactic fleet through this form, is we exist in multiple forms. Just as I am here, I am a receptive nature on motherships as well. We exist in various communications. This form is important for our communication as of this moment. I love you collectively, united always.